Easyplant. This is a video I didn't want to make. This is not a new one. I've had this one for, I don't know, 4 months, maybe. I really like the idea of Easyplant. I love their website. Their marketing is spot on. I like their pots. As far as self-watering pots go, clearly the most attractive. Other than that, you don't know that they're self-watering. Their plants arrive, with one exception out of my 8, looking amazing. And even that one exception is the 8th plant. It arrived healthy. I just didn't like the way it looked. I thought it looked a little skimpy. They sent me another one, but I have had a couple of problems. I've documented those in videos, namely the self-watering pot. The idea, you just fill the reservoir with water, you check it depending upon the plant. This is an every 2-month plant, but most of them are 1 month. You check it when the reservoir's dried out. Top 2 inches of soil have dried, you refill it, and it does everything that it needs to for at least a year before you have to worry about repotting or anything like that. However, I have had 3 now. This is my 3rd one that have had watering issues. My first one, I actually took the pot apart, and you can see just how genius and well designed this is. This is the wick system. There's a hole there. This goes down in, so this would be down in the reservoir to pull water up. And this comes out and sits in here and soaks the soil or gets the soil wet, feeds the plant. Everything should be great, but the problem I've ran into, this one, I believe, when this was mounted, let me see if I can mimic what I think the issue was on this one. I think in the installation of this, the wick got caught behind it because water would go down. If I put this down as far as I can go, water would go down to about there, and then the plant would start drying up. And that's because the wick, I believe, was caught behind and not down in the bottom of the reservoir as it should have been. And I have had, I think I said 3, maybe 4. I've had a couple of other plants from them that were always too moist, and I suspected that maybe there was too much wick here in this reservoir, but I took one apart. That wasn't the case. Maybe the wick was going up too far, because there's supposed to be, per their instructions, 2 inches of soil between the base of the wick inside the pot and where the plant roots are, where the plant sits. So I don't know what the problem is. I just know it's not working for now. I guess this is the 4th plant of mine. I thought 3, but this is the 4th. And what's happening on this one, so let me see. I don't know if you'll be able to see down in here, but let me open this up and look down in here. And if I get this into the light, you can see the water. You kind of see it splashing a little bit there. There's water down in here. See if I can do this under this light. Well, you're just gonna have to trust me. There's water down in here, but this Sansevieria cylindrica, I said in a previous video, this was one of my, I just put water in it and it just worked. I didn't have any problems. I did, however, have a couple of tips. I did casually mention that shriveled up, like you can see this one. Shriveled up. A Sansevieria cylindrica, see how pointy that is? I mean, they're almost needle-like, the little tips. I had a few that had shriveled up and I had to trim. Well, now I'm noticing, see these couple little black tips here? That's how this one started out. So those are going to shrivel as well. And then I noticed, I don't know how well you can see this, but do you see that gap where the dirt is separate from this pot, from the container? I contacted their support, and they were going to warranty it. Even though it was past the warranty period, they were going to warranty it, which I appreciate that. But they thought this liner had detached. I finally sent them a video showing that no, it's actually the dirt has just dried out so much. And while I was sticking a bamboo skewer in here to see if there was any moisture in this dirt, it was moving. I mean, look at this. I could lift this entire plant easily out of this pot. Not the liner, literally the dirt and the plant. I can lift up out of the pot. This is drying up and dying. That's why the tips are shriveling on this thing, because it's literally dying. It's not getting water from this pot. For some reason, even though there's water down in this reservoir, only the very most bottom point of that soil is getting wet. I mean, just barely, and I guess it's not enough to feed a plant that, from what I understand, was pretty drought resistant. These don't need a lot of water, but this one, I guess, is dying, And they sent some information that I could pull this out and check the pot, or check the wick in the pot and all that. So I guess I'm gonna have to do that, but I figure this one will probably die too. But at the very least, it's not set it and forget it ease like I thought it was gonna be with this one. And now this is my fourth one, so I do have, let me just count. I have this one that is doing okay. This one is doing really well. It's time to trim that, but this one's doing really well. I just had to water those, and they're working, although the one I just showed you did have fungus gnats initially. And this skimpy little fern that does have some new growth, and I just noticed a second new growth. Earlier today, I had to get a little bit of mold out of this because you can see right under this top layer, it is just drenching wet. This one too is over watering for some reason. I don't know if it's a soil issue with the plants they're choosing or what, but it's clearly getting water in there, but it's getting too much, and that's a fungus gnat breeding ground. My other one covered in fungus gnats. I made a video where I basically killed it just to discover what was going on with the pots. Now I do have this medium money tree that is doing pretty good. It's still going. It doesn't seem to. I just touched the soil on the other one, so I don't want to touch this, just in case. But this one seems to be dry where it needs to be. Uh-oh. Oh my gosh, look at this. That soil is pulling away too. What in the flippin' world is going on here? So that means this one is probably gonna be drying up. It has water in it. And it's on its first drink. Yeah, you can really see there. See where it's separating? This soil too is dry. Oh my gosh. I don't know what in the world is going on, but apparently I can't make these Easyplants survive for more than a few months without issues. Well, still have two that don't have issues. I do have the Aglaonema Beauty that I have in my plant ICU because it has been so riddled with fungus gnats since I got it, since a couple of weeks after I got it, that I don't dare put it around anything else. But I thought this one was doing pretty good, and now I see that. Well, at least the dirt, it's not rocking the whole plant, so maybe I'm just jumping the gun here, but I mean, look at that. There's gaps. We'll see. You know, let me get a skewer and test this one. Yeah, let's try this. I should be able to stick this in all the way to the bottom. Let it sit there for just a second and pull this out. And if it's clean, it's not getting... Holy crap. It's not getting water. That's why it's starting to separate around the edges, because it's not getting water, but you can clearly see there is water down in there. And this is another case where maybe that wick doesn't go all the way to the bottom like it should, but yeah, so it looks like this thing, unless that's wet. No, I mean, that is complete. Oh my freaking gosh. And they keep telling me you can water from the top. Well, if I'm watering from the top, why am I paying the extra money for the Easyplant self-watering pot? Yeah, not happy at all. Does have some new growth, but I don't know what's going on. I do have this, my other money tree, a Live Trends I bought from Lowe's, and you can see the brand new growth on it now starting to get its deeper green color. I have 3 of them. This was this big one here. Look at this. It's finally getting its color to match the darkness on these leaves. It's thriving, and this isn't even in a draining pot. This is kind of a nightmare scenario where you really have to watch it. This thing's doing good, at least so far. Oh, and this is doing well too. My little air plant Live Trends. This, they call it a red oak because, I mean, just look at that. A red oak, but it's a money tree. That's doing well. Not happy with the entire Easyplant experience, and I am so sad about that because I really do like the idea of this, but if it doesn't work, I know there are people out there that apparently it does for, but for me, I'm down to 2 plants that are problem free. Look, I'm not even going to count the problem with the gnats and the Aglaonema Beauty it's still watering, but it's overwatering the pot. So 2 that are literally water and go and don't worry. Yeah, not thrilled. What do you think?